My name is Nina Charlene Usherwood, but I was assigned Patrick Charles Usherwood at birth. I am a base brat. I was actually born when my dad was posted to France, and I grew up on literally coast to coast, the southern tip of Nova Scotia to the northmost tip of Vancouver Island, and points in between. I was my dad was in the military, always on a base during my childhood, and I might have lived in a house off the base, but mostly I lived on a base. I joined in 1971 when I was 17. I was still in high school and I joined the reserves. In 1980, once I graduated from high school, then I joined the Reg Force. I knew, at least I thought I knew. You have to actually be in the military to really know the military, but I thought I knew and understood. And I just wanted to serve Canada. That's how my dad always referred to it. He never referred to going to work. He always referred to going to his duty. And so I saw it as a Canadian, to part of my duty to serve Canada. It was a challenge, that's for sure. I found it difficult. I think the biggest part is when you join is sometimes your expectations don't live up to it. So you have to meet their expectations, not what you think it is. And it can be a challenge to actually figure out what the expectations is. But one of the big things the military always is emphasizes on leadership. And you have to understand how they see leadership, which is different probably than, for example, a big company. I've always known that that's who I wanted, that I wanted to live as a woman. I didn't have the words and stuff like that, but as I got into my teens, I was able to access city libraries like the Halifax City Library. And then later, I actually got access to the Dalhousie Library, student library, and there was lots of stuff to read in there. And so I spent a lot of time exploring who I was. I don't know that I really had a word to describe who I was, because I didn't quite match what they said, but it got me closer to who I was, to understanding who I was. And I mean, I knew who I was, I just didn't have the words. And really, in many ways, it wasn't until the last decade I've actually had the words to describe who I am. I started, as I said, I was dressed at probably age 4, but once I became a teenager and I had some money, I actually went to Sears and bought my own clothes and then hid them, and would find places very quiet to where I wouldn't be disturbed to dress. And I continued right into the military. Once I got to after my basic training, I had clothes hidden away, locked in my empty suitcase, that kind of thing. I did not feel safe, so I kept myself hidden. I kept myself socially isolated. I didn't develop a lot of friendships. I didn't spend time hanging around with other people because the way to stay hidden is to be invisible. And to be invisible in the forces, you have to not be at various events where people are going to notice you. And so, no, I stayed hidden. And the result is that the impact on my career is that you don't get promoted if nobody knows who you are. And so I was 23 years as a corporal. And that definitely, I think it really impacted who I was. I had to be careful socially that I wouldn't do anything. The military, especially back in those days, had a big thing about social drinking. I had to be careful doing any of that because I could not lose control. Yeah, I just kept myself very isolated from everybody. Well, in 1999, the military had actually paid for surgery, for gender affirming surgery for somebody. So I knew that I could come out to the forces, But I also saw the kind of hostile living environment that they lived in. And so at that time, that was not something I was going to do. At that point in 2008, especially in 2009, I realized that I had to live my own life. And so I made the decision that I was going to do it. And I actually flew from BC to Toronto to dress where I'd be safe. And it was the first time I'd been really fully dressed with makeup and everything. And I thought, oh, I wouldn't look too bad. You know, that I could, there was a possibility there, because that's part of the other fear. You just look horrible and attract attention and stuff like this. When I went to Toronto and I saw that it was possible that I wouldn't look hideous, at that point, I decided that I was going to do it, that I was going to move forward. Then I went to the military and I said, yes, this is what I'm doing. And basically the person I talked to said, oh, okay, so how do we got to do it? Because nobody else had done that at that point in my unit. Other people had done it, but so they said, okay, well, let's figure out how we're going to do this. And that's where we were. It was such a relief how easy the military made it for me. I'm very grateful for that. I know how it would have been in the past, and but it went well. It really did. When I read through the class action suit, I'm someone who reads like practically everything that's out there, period. I mean, I follow politics quite closely. I follow Canadian news quite closely. And when I heard about the lawsuit, and I actually knew some people that actually went to Ottawa for the apology. And when I decided I would join because it did have an impact on my career. I was never interrogated. I don't know how much that stress on me for those 3 decades, what that did to my health. I'm in reasonable health. That's why I can still be in the military, but I'm not in great health. Frankly, I more wanted the acknowledgement that I went through than anything else. I would have just been happy with an actual apology to me, which I've got, as opposed to any cash award. That was more important to me. The acknowledgement of what I went through, that's what I wanted. And that's why I joined. One of the things is because I was so isolated, but I did get such great support when I started being Nina. I've, in a way, kind of made it my mission. My mission going forward in life is to educate and advocate. And part of the educating is to actually talk about what happened in the past. Because so many people, even now in the forces, 92 was a long time ago. There's lots of people that in the forces that have no idea what it was like to be there. And because one of the things I read a lot of is history. One of the things that I see from all my history reading is the way a society or a country or an organization is now is affected by how they act, what they did in the past. That's what makes it who they are, and how they are right now. And if you don't understand the past, you can't see why they are the way they are.